in the Perry Street area is to look at a more zonal approach. So let's just say once everything's gone up there, the business school's taken over their spaces and the multimodal's in, and now the only spaces I have are the 1,300 spaces in the Perry Street garage.
Mm-hmm.
What I might do is say, okay, if you want to park in the Perry Street garage, it's a highly desirable location. That permit might be $600 a year.
Yeah.
And I would only sell it to, let's just say I had 1,000 spaces in there for students. I might only sell 1,100 or 1,200 spaces, because that way I could guarantee that you would have a space in that garage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say anyone else who wants to park on campus, then so maybe that's a $600 permit, but maybe the cage turns out to only be a $250 permit.
Yeah.
So I know that I have X number of dollars a year that I need to make. Again, snow removal, debt service, salaries, all that kind of stuff. I know how much money I need to make.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I think, okay, I can sell 800 or 900 or 1,000 permits at $600 in the Perry Street area, and give that to somebody as a choice, and then give somebody else a better value farther away. And if you look at, if you do just a straight cost convenience, if you look at the higher the convenience, the higher the cost. The less the convenience, the less the cost. And so I can say, okay, these are less convenient spaces out here. Maybe Chicken Hill is the least convenient space of all. So maybe it's 225, maybe the cage is 250, and maybe the other one is 400.
Yeah.
Again, the number's to be determined, but that way I can start managing parking demand as well. Again, if you've made the choice, I don't really care if I park in the Perry Street area. I'd rather have a cheaper permit. Well, then you can go. You know that you're going to go straight to Chicken Hill, or you're going to go straight to the cage. You don't spin your wheels looking for the opening. You're not a shark in that lot anymore.
Yeah.
You just go straight to the lot that you paid for based on your cost convenience model, and you save yourself time and everything.
Yeah.
But if financially, if that amount is something you want to pay, and it's more important for you to have closer parking, then you're okay to pay a higher price. Well, then you know that your spot is more guaranteed in the Perry Street area because you've paid that higher price, higher demand type permit. And so those are things that I will look at doing over the course of the next couple of years to start managing demand for the areas on campus, especially with the loss of spaces that we're having.
Okay.
Wow, you're like, I've learned more about parking than I ever even cared.
This is good.
Ever even cared to know. I really didn't want to know all this stuff.
This is good because we're learning a lot, and we can kind of apply it to our actual project. And you mentioned earlier that you outsource the buses to the town of Blacksburg. Is that correct?
The town of Blacksburg runs Blacksburg Transit. Yes. Okay. We pay them to run.
You pay them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We pay them your money to run it.
Okay.
The money comes from student fees.
Okay.
It's about $3.2 million a year.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, as we mentioned in our early email conversations, we're prototyping an application that will recognize open parking spaces in real time through sensors. And we've seen these sensors in application in Northern Virginia. I haven't seen many in North Carolina, but mainly Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, where you drive down a parking road and it shows a green light or a red light if a parking spot's open. We kind of want to turn that into an application where you can pull up your phone, you click on a lot, and it'll show you which spots are open. And we also talked about kind of encouraging students to take alternative forms of transportation through an application that would maybe give you coupons or something if you check in on a bus, because not even just at Virginia Tech, but they're in DC. It's huge where people are encouraged to take alternative forms of transportation because it's a sustainable lifestyle and all that. Is this something that y'all would consider putting into practice? Is this something that's feasible?
So let's break that apart then.
Yeah.
So we call them pucks. A puck in a space.
Yep.
Those are really expensive.
Yes.
There
are
are cheaper ways to do exactly what you want to do.
Okay.
That I would highly encourage you to start thinking about.
Okay.
Again, a puck in a space is really expensive. You've got to have power, communication. You've got to be, they either got to be solar and cellular. They've got to be wired. Expensive. Just think expensive.
Yeah.
Some of the other there's several. There's video analytics that can work where you can have some type of camera system that counts cars in and out of a particular lot. And if you want to think about the cage is a perfect lot. There's you know, if you want to, even if you look at the CG part, the orange part on the bottom, and then if you think about that whole lot, there's a very few number of ways to get in and get out of that lot.
Mm-hmm.
So some providers use a video analytics to have like a camera system, similar to how they count people going on and off a bus. You know, you're just breaking a light ray and it counts. There's also loops where you actually put induction loops in the ground that counts cars. They're not 100% accurate, but they're pretty accurate. And basically what you do is you can say, okay, we'll just use a fake number here. There's 1,000 spaces in this particular lot. And in this lot, there's 2 ways in and 2 ways out. So I have 4 loops, 1 on each entrance, 1 on each exit. And as a car drives by this loop, it subtracts so now I only have 999 spaces.
Okay.
And then when a car drives out the exit, it adds one. It says, okay, now I have 1,000 spaces. You do that over the course of the whole day.
Yeah.
And then you represent that lot in either green, yellow, or red.
Okay.
So green meaning there's more than, 100 spaces left open. Yellow means there's less than 50 open, and red means there's less than 25. Something like that.
Yeah.
You determine what that is. You tell people. You say, okay, we're gonna give you on a snapshot. You can look exactly. Okay, I can't tell you that there's exactly 653 spaces open, but in relative comfort, I can feel pretty good to say there's at least 500 spaces open.
Okay.
Because some people sometimes they drive out the exit, they drive in so it's something that needs some maintenance, needs some upkeep.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to weekly or probably something like that. They've got to reset the loops. Do either of you park in the Perry Street garage?
I did last semester because I had 8 a.m.s. But.
Yeah. Have you ever parked in there?
Yeah.
There's the lineators when you go in that garage. You know there's very specific lanes where you have to drive in. There's those little things in the ground.
Yeah.
There's one over there on the ground, but there's those little yellow. And you've got to. And the reason why I do that is because we have a system in that garage. That reader that's out front.
Yeah.
That's on either side of the garage. It says level 1 is open, level 2 is closed, level 3 is open. That's exactly the same thing. Is done from sensors overhead instead of sensors in the ground.
Yeah.
In a garage, that makes sense. An overhead sensor.
Yeah.
In a parking lot, induction loops makes a lot more sense. But again, you have to be really careful to really funnel people through a specific path.
Yeah.
You don't want, you can't have such a wide entrance that somebody could come in like this or like this, or go, but the cage lot really kind of is conducive for that because there's fairly defined entrances and exits in that one. So that would be a much cheaper way. You could probably put a loop in the ground. Do you remember how much y'all paid for your loops?
I do not.
$10,000 maybe.
Much
something
cheaper than the
much cheaper than each
much,
individual spot.
Yeah, I mean, the puck you're looking at probably, it could be upwards of almost $1,000 a space.
Yeah. What's funny was when we were researching them, we couldn't actually find a price online. You had to call the supplier, and I was like, okay, that's how I know it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
But that's good. Have you actually seen, other than you said the sensors in the garage? They have those kinds of sensors, but they don't have the video analytics.
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't have. They're just basically counting cars in and out. It's a sensor from the top, and it pretty much says, oh, a car just went by, and every once in a while it can be, oh, a person just walked by. It doesn't really. It doesn't distinguish. A golf cart could mess it up because it thinks that's a car.
Yeah.
That's why that system has to be reset.
Okay.
At a frequency that because you wouldn't want it to say all the levels were open and have them all be closed. So you need you have to keep it fairly accurate, or people start not paying attention to your information.
Yeah.
So
Okay. We were actually discussing that. We were like, how do the sensors work in there? Because we thought it was a weight thing.
Yeah,
we thought they weighed the
too.
cars.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I've never seen
So
something
if you
like
see the little cutouts on the ground where there's loops, those are not actually weight sensors. A lot of people think if you jump up and down on it, it thinks it's a car.
Yeah.
It's actually it's magnetic.
Okay.
You have so much metal in a car that it senses that there's metal passing over, and so again, that's why I said sometimes it doesn't know if it's a car or a golf cart or
That's like the gates on campus. You can't stand there, and the gate's not going to open no matter what.
Yeah.
You put it in the thing unless there's a car there.
If there's a car there, that's what says, hey, gate, there's a car here, now do what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
which is either open if you have a certain tag or a permit or whatever.
Mhm.
But without the car there, you can't take just like my hang tag. You couldn't take that and wave it in front of the sensor and get it to open the gate unless the car was sitting on the sensor. And that's just a
We actually
override.
had some